I appreciate all you followers and your comments, constantly encouraging, and I really genuinely do. I've had a lot of people that have had grace for my lack of knowledge in many cases on these Hondas that we are continuing to collect and sell from our collection, and we appreciate, my wife and I both do, we appreciate all of you all that follow us, and I hope each one of you, if nothing else, really is encouraged by the joy of the Lord that encourages me every day. And so I want to give you a real quick tour of the Indianapolis Indy collection. As you guys know it, this is the Beech Grove location. This is actually my son's customer waiting area. We have just recently resituated it so that we would have a couple of desks over here when we have people coming in to buy several bikes at a time, so that we can accommodate that. This is not my day job. I still work for a living. But at any rate, this is a real quick tour. I've shared with you guys this bike before. This is a 68, pretty one of a kind. It's 100% original. There's not one single part on here that wasn't born on the bike, and so it's a really rare. Actually it's a 3-speed, quick release handlebars, quick release seat, as you can see there, and so you can let that down very quickly. For some reason, back in the day, 1968, these were private pilots on small aircraft would buy this bike. They'd put it in their trunk, which is in the hood compartment of those old planes, and it fit perfectly, and they could land at their FBO and get this bike out and ride it up to the office if they wanted to. And so this was for some reason known as a pilot's bike. And these crates that I've got are extremely original. We spent the money that we needed to do to send these down to Louisiana to a really fantastic builder that has a lot of attention to detail. If you need his information, I'll do that for you. My wife got that for me for my 30th birthday, and that was quite some time ago. And this is an original pea picker that we had restored by the same gentleman, and it's just an extremely well done restoration. As you can see, we didn't buy new parts. We put the original parts on it that were re-chromed. And then the seats in both cases, the lemon peeler with the white seat and metallic with the with the yellow stripe, is one of the two builders Schwinn really recognizes. They do as well with matching up these bikes with their original seat as anybody. This is a one of a kind. It's probably a few of them out there. I'm exaggerating, but not very many. This was a mess up. Schwinn wanted I read the biography. The gentleman loved, the owner creator of this bike, loved this sunburst orange on a car that he saw. They introduced that to the bike, and he hated it on the bike. So this was a very short-lived color to replace the orange crate color that you just can't mess up. It's one of the most beautiful colors ever. But this is not the orange crate. Doesn't have the iconic following the orange crate does, but it's extremely rare, so it has quite a bit more value. This is a 5-speed. 1972, I believe. I'm going by memory now. And it does have a disc brake, a Schwinn OEM disc brake right there. So very rare bike. This bike is probably north of 5, and there's probably a dozen people out there that would buy it. I have not offered it to be sold. These in this particular row are all survivors, barn finds, etc. None of these have been restored, or they're just exactly like they were when they were sold new. There's a few parts that have been installed. Obviously this rear view mirror, they didn't have a rear view mirror, but don't pick on me if I'm missing something. Minibike Mike, he's always welcome to call me. That guy knows more about these things than Well, he's forgotten more than I know, that's for sure. These are the 2 3-speeds in 1970. Candy Sapphire and Candy Ruby. Excellent, excellent original bikes. And yes, tremendous originality. This is a one owner. This is the K1 edition. That's the K0's 3-speeds. This is the K1 3-speeds. You can only get these 2 colors, and the one on the right is not correct. The Candy Ruby was that color, not that color. We acquired that bike in Pennsylvania from a guy that just restored it to the best of his ability, but that fell very short of my expectations. We did disassemble this bike and put it back together after we went through the motor and got it exactly perfect. Anything you buy from me, we started doing this this year actually. We disassemble the motors and we put new seals and gaskets in them. We test ride them. We'll give you the video of the test ride as well, and cold starts. This is a tremendous thing to do, actually. We actually do that. Do you see all these Survivor bikes I just showed you on the first row? We do that to all those bikes as well. The 90s are coming on. This is a 1990 body style of the 50Rs. They're beginning to come on, and then these are restored modifieds. A good friend of mine in the west side of Indiana painted this bike, came up with this color, kind of messed up and came up with this color, and it's one of the prettiest colors I think I've ever seen. It's Candy, that's Candy, different, isn't it? And that's 190cc, where it's breaking the rear axle, too much torque. We're gonna have to figure that out. This is really cool. A father-son did this resto mod here, and I loved the story, first of all, but what a great looking bike, restored modified. These are good bikes. That's a clone. I'm not a big fan, but I will tell you what a lot of fun for $1,800 or $1,900. It's compared to $5,000 or $10,000. It's a lot of fun, and it looks sort of like a CT70. It's a good campground bike for sure. A guy traded that in to me on a really nice Emerald bike. And then these 2 resto mods were done excellent. One of them by a friend of mine in Detroit. Many people know David Jackson. He's just a great builder, good attention to detail. That's his bike there on the right. And the one on the left, another great builder in California, we've got a tremendous relationship with, and I just have a great amount of respect for them. In fact, he did one of the restored originals, the Candy Emeralds, like the one on the right, the green here. But yeah, this row here is all KO, K1, and these are what I would call reconditioned or completely restored. This one here is just reconditioned. We did not change the seat because it's actually a good, comfortable seat, and it's not for everybody. But if you bought this bike and you said, hey, I want the K1 original seat, I have it. It's recovered. I just kind of like to show them with the parts that they came with to me, if possible. Otherwise, nut and bolt restored bike like the one we did right here is the direction we go. That's an outstanding bike. Those are bringing a lot of money. Everybody wants to know what those are worth. A Candy Emerald, fully restored, nut and bolt restored. On the low side, you're going to find them for $65. On the high side, $12. All original, never messed with. In fact, original exhaust even, one owner right here, and I have the title. It's a one owner, titled 1970. That's a Candy blue green. A lot of people get that color wrong. Take a look. That's original. The headlight is probably aftermarket, but the rest of this bike looks to be extremely original. One of the things I like to do is feel underneath the front fender, and you should feel a roll there, right there. Well, you don't on this one. That's an aftermarket fender that we had installed. We left the original on the back, but the front had some damage on it that we couldn't repair. If you want the original style, I'll do that for you as well on that bike. These are just beautiful. This is a Candy Ruby, all original, and you can see, it's got a couple character pieces here to prove that maybe a youngster had it at one time. But wow, would you look at that California bike that was kept inside a lot and not sunburnt? like so many are. That's gorgeous. And even the chain guard on this bike is almost perfect, which is never the case. The dealer that sold this bike new that's his sticker. This is a gorgeous bike. Talking about the California builder, he restored this nut and bolt top to bottom. He's the guy that builds, $12,000, $15,000 concourse level bikes if he wants to or if he's being paid to. This is a fantastic restoration. This is Survivor. I put it in this row, even though it's got some patina. I put it in this row because it is an example of a very well reconditioned bike. It does not have the original seat cover, but it is, in fact, I don't think that's the correct bucket either. I'm going to ask Minibike Mike about that. The bucket should look like the one on the right, which is the original cover and original seat bucket. And that is also an all original, and I believe including the headlight bucket. This is an all original candy blue green, very, very hard to find. Excellent bike. And this guy decided to paint it Coke can red. And if you're like me, I love originals. I don't like it when people do them wrong, like that maroon-ish candy ruby that I showed you earlier. Should be candy ruby and should not be darker. Some people are putting too many coats of clear on their candy, and that's what's causing that. But this here is a wrong color red, but right color red in my eyes. Red is never ugly, guys. And this here, I call it Coke can red, is beautiful. Absolutely a great color for an iconic bike. And that bike is it's brand new. As you can see, it's not a nut and bolt restored bike, but very, very close. And then obviously we've got, these are not reproductions, 1951, 1949 models. They've got a key, so the horns do work, and the headlights work, and aren't they done well? My friend I referred to in Louisiana that restores crates better than anybody I know, he restored those bikes, and this one was also restored by him in the very beginning, 2015, I believe. I acquired it from a big collector in Carmel, Indiana. He was nice enough to sell me this bike. It was restored several years ago. It looks like brand new. I just love it. Great looking bike. These are 1969s. That would be a K1. They have the circular emblem. The next edition would be the oval emblem. I've got several ovals, but I don't have any that are completely restored. These are completely restored bikes right here. And then what I call the 79 look into the 80s. That's really coming on strong. The Christmas bike obviously is sort of in that genre as far as body style goes, and that has really, I think it's raised the value level on all of them, because obviously those are bringing $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 now, which is insane. These are two that were built by a friend of mine I do a lot of business with up in Michigan, and you couldn't have sold them to a better guy, because I was just reminded last month my stepsister, due to complications from breast cancer, went to be with the Lord about 10 years ago. And these are kind of special. I was going to put them on Bring a Trailer this month. In fact, I had a place reserved. I'm going to call my buddy in California that handles that for us, and I'm going to have him put them on next month. But at any rate, those are hot rod bikes. Those are 4-speed aftermarket motors, 4-speed 110 cc's on a 50 Z50A chassis, 1974, and they're just gorgeous. I mean, what you're looking at is what they look like in person. They just keep getting newer and newer and newer. The further you look, the better it is. So this is the Indy collection. We've resorted the deck here, where we've got room to do some business. I do love the Lord. We talk about Jesus quite a lot, and I don't ever want to offend anybody. But, if I believe and I have faith that you got to know him to go to heaven, friends, if that's my faith, please don't be offended that I share it with you, because friends don't let friends go to hell if they can keep from it. We want to at least create a speed bump, to at least have some thought about it. And I am always open to not debate, but discussion. So if I can ever do anything to encourage you in your relationship with the Lord, that's probably the thing I would like to do the most. God bless y'all.